Today's agenda on Word, I wanted to help you understand how to do a few things like customizing the quick access menu and what in the world the quick access menu is. If you do a lot of things repetitively in an application or software, which we tend to do a lot of times, making sure that those quick tools that are available to you all the time are available at a quick way to get to them is really handy. It's a shortcut way. It makes it quicker to use. We'll take a look at the design. I've got a document. My latest newsletter is about data brokers, and we'll take a look at what design can do to change that document. We'll take a look at editing pictures in Word. The Word process, the editing pictures function that comes up in Word and PowerPoint has become extremely powerful as an image and photo editor. We'll take a look at Smart Lookup, and we'll take a look at Share, and we'll just explore a lot of things. Editing pictures and designing and customizing quick access will probably take up most of our time today, but Smart Lookup is a convenient little tool. It means you don't have to go to the web to do something. You could do something directly from within Word and use Bing search directly within Word. This is my Windows 11. I'm going to go to Word. I do have Microsoft 365 installed. Now we've got our Windows Word document, Windows 11 with Word open. And I'm going to just take a look at a blank document first. The blank document is as a standard template. So if we just type something in, it'll come up with a default format, and it'll automatically do some things like suggesting spelling corrections, but it's a very simple document. We have a navigation menu across the top. We have what's called the ribbon, which changes as you select navigation tools. So if I select, it's on Home right now, and Home typically has most of the things you need to use when you are working in a document. It'll have the text formatting, the paragraph formatting, styles, which apply specific styles to a set of text. It has tools that are available here. You can dictate. You have an editor if you have Microsoft 365. You can use add-ins. And I have Grammarly as an add-in. It's a grammar checker. So these are ribbon menu, and this is the quick access toolbar here. Accessibility will tell you if the document is readable, if it's amenable to people with vision or contrast issues, or other types of things. If it can be moved from text to speech, it analyzes the document for those kinds of purposes. And what you'll see whenever you click on certain types of functions is you'll see a sidebar open up on the right-hand side of your document that you can close with an X if you don't want to see it anymore. But there are some shortcuts here that exist. It'll tell you what page you're on, how many words are in the document, proofing errors, text predictions can be turned on or off, accessibility, and a few other things. And you can change your page view as well if you'd rather be in reading mode, where you read 2 pages side by side, or in single print layout mode, which is standard, or actually Word will also convert to a web.
So my guess, sorry, Bob, my guess is that I've got somewhere under file or account or something, a flag or something that I haven't turned on for this thing.
It could be. I don't think I recall having turned accessibility on ever. It could be that I did, but I don't recall whether I actually turned it on or not at any point.
Reg, would probably be under your Microsoft Word settings. There'd be something under
somewhere
your
in the settings. It's somewhere in the settings. Now, one of the things that's kind of neat about Word is that at the top here are a couple of icons. There's a an autosave icon, and there is a on or off switch. So I have Microsoft 365, so I have autosave off when you start a document. If you turn it on, it asks you to name the document and determine which OneDrive you want. I actually have two OneDrive accounts, so I'm going to choose OneDrive Personal, and I'm going to call it a Tech Explorer Word document here and click OK. It's naming it, and now it's auto-saved. It actually saves versions of the document. As I make changes and edits, it saves versions. So I can browse the version history. That's in the quick access toolbar here. So I can see if I make a change, and I can say this, hi, Reg, hi, Explorers, and it's recorded a change. It's saving it automatically every time I do this, so I can see what the version history is of this document as I create more pieces of information on it. I can see different versions if I want to when I revise it. So version history is really nice to utilize. And I have a read-only version here. So if I want to change it, I've got to go back to the auto-saved version and turn it back on. Okay, so this file is read-only, and I have a customizable tool for the quick access toolbar. Okay, so one of the things you want to keep in mind is when you do a read-only version in Word, you don't have the ability to make edits. You've got to go back to the original version here, and yeah, you can edit it. So if you go back to File, it'll give you a list of documents. Sometimes you'll get a document that's an attachment, and you'll have to look at it as a read-only version, but if you save a copy, it allows you to do editing on it. So just keep that in mind when you're working with versions of Word. Okay, so this quick access toolbar, in addition to autosave, I have a save icon, which is the floppy disk icon. A lot of people don't know what a floppy disk is anymore, and so they call this the bread icon. There is an undo and a redo icon that allow you to go back step by step or go forward step by step. So you can see what things look like as you make changes. So if I make changes to this text and I make it bold, for example, and I want to change it back, I can just click on the back, or I can go forward and change it very quickly and go back and forth. There's also this little arrow, this tiny little drop-down disclosure arrow. What this does is it gives me access to other tools that exist that I can indicate in the quick access toolbar. So if I don't want to have the save icon there because I'm automatically saved, I could just unclick that. You can see the bread icon went away. If I wanted to put email up here, I can put email. So if I want to email this document often, if I do that often from Word, I could have an email icon up here, and it opens up my email application and gives me the ability to do email. Okay. So I have to configure my accounts. I haven't done it on this computer yet. Okay. So there are other icons that exist too. I could draw, if I do tables a lot, if I want to see what it looks like in a preview, if I do printing a lot, I can do this, and it adds a print icon to it. So by just selecting and unselecting these icons, I can put some of these quick access tools available for me right in the menu. Now, these are not all the commands. There are many commands that you can put in the quick access toolbar. You can put almost anything you want there. So if you use bullets a lot and you want to indicate bullets, you can add bullets to the quick access menu, and it'll add it to the quick access menu just by adding it. And so you can change the order of these if you want to. If you want to cut and copy and paste and want them in the quick access menu, you can do that. If you want to use the find command in the quick access menu, you can add all of these. These are only a partial list of the commands. So you can choose things like display, proofing, how you save it, the language you're working with, accessibility. This is probably where you have something unchecked if you do not have the accessibility checker running. There's advanced tools for working with Word, customizing the ribbon as well. So you can, in addition to customizing the quick access toolbar, you can customize the ribbon. So if there are things that you like to have in home that you want to see all the time, you can add specific items in each menu item if you choose to, so that if you're doing a task frequently, you can put that icon or that function into the menu and customize the menu so that you can get to it quicker than just taking the default standard Word menus that come with it. So if I go back to quick access toolbar and I want to get find removed, let's take out bullets. I just click the remove icon and it's removed. And I can even change the position of the quick access toolbar or hide it if I don't want to see it. They give you a tremendous number of customizations for you to work with any way you want to navigate around Windows. So that's one of the great things about using Word, and also this happens to be the case with Excel and PowerPoint, is that these ribbon and quick access tools are extremely customized. So if I'm always going to find, rather than finding a menu or something, or if I don't know the shortcut yet, I can always click find, and it will bring up the navigation menu here, and I can just type in the word blank, for example, and it'll start to highlight it for me and show me where it is in the document. So navigation tools, if you're using a common task or a common activity over and over again, make your word processor work for you. It's like keeping, if you use, salsa a lot, if you use salt and pepper a lot in your kitchen, if you're, always working with tea or coffee, things you keep on the counter or make easily accessible are things that you can make easily accessible in these menus. So you can customize these menus to your heart's content almost. That would give you a tremendous amount of capability. So any questions about customizing these menus and ribbons? If I want to change these settings, I can change them if I want to. So if I don't like text predictions while I'm typing, or other things like that. So it's using a little bit of AI already. And so these are just some of the advanced options. So these are other things: cut, copy, and paste, how you like your formatting kept, if you kind of keep your bullets handled, if you want to handle links certain ways, image size and quality that you might want to deal with, charts, other things. So you have just a tremendous ability of customization options. Now, most of us just create very simple documents, but some people get very complex and elaborate documents. Styles are pre-formatted texts. Styles, okay? A style comes with the normal template. We are actually working in a template, and if I select this text and unbold it by clicking out here, it's just standard Calibri 11 point. That is the standard font and type style for a blank document in Word. However, I can select text and I will get a pop-up menu that gives me the ability to select styles. Here, I can change the font as well. I can assign bullets or numbers or change the paragraph formatting. These are shortcuts to these blocks of information here. But styles gives me the ability to change it. I haven't clicked on this yet. All I've done is move my mouse over heading 1. I have it selected in this line. and I can change the style of a piece of a line of text by using these styles. And the styles are available for me to navigate with and manage and utilize. And I can use something as a quote, but normal is what you will normally see. Now, if you want to create a table of contents using the heading 1 style and the heading 2 style are valuable because the table of contents pulls from the styles in order to determine what goes into a table of contents. So if you're thinking about using table of contents, keep in mind that you want to use a style like heading 1 for one grouping, heading 2, and you can create multiple headings if you want to, as many as you need to format this. So just by clicking in any area, you will format this and create different formatting styles. And styles are basically a way of saying, okay, I want to apply a style like a subtitle and have it always be in this particular font, this particular shading, this particular color, or this particular italicized, or anything else. You can create a style from anything you want, and you can clear formatting, or you can apply styles to anything you want as well. Styles are a fast way to format your document. Okay. Any questions about styles? Because a lot of people get confused by them or don't bother using them. Now, I'm going to pull up another document. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to open up this other document. One of the nice things about Word is that it keeps track of documents you use. It also has some helpful tips, a tour of Word, how to insert a table of contents, and many, many, many templates that you can use to utilize and start with. If you start with a template, you are able to just replace the text in the template, and it's pre-formatted document for you. Instead of just formatting text and saying, I want this to be a 20-point text and I want it to be bold, that's one way to format something. Instead of doing it that way, if you use a style like heading 1, heading 1 tells Word that that is a type of heading, and you can exists that can be used in a table of contents. Whereas if you just formatted the text to a particular font and size, Word does not know that that's a piece of text that should be used in a table of contents. What I'm going to do is pull up another document here. This is Data Brokers that I wrote. This was an article that I wrote, and it welcomes me back. Where did I leave off? And I used a couple of things here. I used a title here. I used some headings. I just basically went and formatted this document a little bit. Not very elaborate. However, if I go to the design menu item, I get access to what are called themes. When you start up Word, you're actually working with a specific design and theme called normal. And it has the Calibri text, and it has certain styles that are associated with it. These are all different themes that exist. And you can see how as I hover over these themes, the text changes. You can see how the different formatting changes on my page and how it differs a little bit as I use these types of themes. And so each theme comes with a set of styles that are pre-designed for that theme. And the idea being is that it can just save you a lot of time that you don't have to worry about. Let me check my waiting room here. Some people got logged out and logged back in. There we go. So a theme is a shortcut to creating a design. And so if I wanted to choose this one like this, you can see how the entire style of the document changes. The color of the headings. This is actually if I go to home, you can see I've got a different set of styles here all of a sudden that are available to me to be able to choose from. The styles look entirely different. And I can go back to design. I can go back to themes. I can go back to the standard Office theme. And there's even some sub-themes that exist within each of these. So I can change and move along within each theme and try different formatting if I want to. And if you want a particular theme to be your default, you can set a particular theme as your default if you find you're working with something. But it's a great way to automatically format documents and get a really quick design style set up for whatever you want. And these aren't the only themes available. You can browse hundreds of themes that Microsoft has created for pre-formatting a document. What it does, it gives you different styles, different text formats and things. So you don't have to go in and manually create it. So you can see if I go over one of these, it kind of centers the text, the headings. If another one changes it to a slightly different format, and they're just amazingly variable in terms of whatever you might want to do. And you can customize them if you want, or you can just go back to the standard Office theme if you choose to do it that way. So if you haven't tried themes, they're kind of a fun way to spice up a document without you having to do a lot of work. But again, if you use a style like heading 1 or heading 2 or for important text, the themes will enable you to automatically reformat that type of style of text in your document wherever you might want to do it. And it just gives you a tremendous amount of capability to manage and change the types of things you might be working with. And that's all available from the Design tab just by selecting Design and clicking on Themes and choosing which type of theme might be interested. It's colors, fonts, and effects that it might indicate in there as well. But design themes are a great way to get something going on a document that you might not have ever tried before.
Bob?
Yes.
The other thing about the themes is that one of the things that it does for you is that, for example, if you're using Calibri 11 point, how much larger should my subheading be or my heading be? That way you have a graphic designer that's actually looked at that and said, well, it should be 2 points or 4 points, whatever. And it just makes the document look that much sharper because it's very balanced.
It really does. It's a tremendous amount. It's like having a graphic designer in your back pocket, You're absolutely right. It's a good way to think of it.
Bob, is design part of Microsoft 365 only?
I think design is also in the free version. You just may not have access to as many themes.
Okay.
But I'm not positive if it's available in the free version. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put my cursor down here at the beginning of this paragraph, and I'm going to go to Insert. And Insert lets you insert a cover page, a blank page, a page break, a table, pictures, shapes, icons, 3D models, smart art, chart, screenshots. These are all tools that are available in PowerPoint. Many of them are available in Excel as well, but it'll basically indicate what's available based on the device. So I'm going to go to Picture, and I'm going to try and insert a file that I have on my desktop. I don't know if you'll see it or not. I'm not sure if I can find it myself or not. So let's see if I can. No, I don't think I can find it there. So let's go back to Pictures and Stock Images. Okay, the stock image library is available for users of Microsoft 365. You've got images, icons, cutout people, which are kind of interesting because you used it a lot in business and education. Stickers that are kind of interesting to use. That's where I got the little B for, please do things, when I introduce my lessons, illustrations that exist for a lot of things in cartoon people that are black and white illustrations for cartoons. They have a wide range of assort tools for each of these, depending on what you're interested in. Now, images is kind of interesting. So let's try an image of a warehouse. Okay. And I'll see a warehouse and I can pick this one, for example. And if I select it and I click insert, it'll insert the image where my document is. I'm going to change my view to 100%. So it gives me a little bit. When you want to view your document, zooming in or zooming out, you can use the view option and change how you're looking at everything. And this gives me an idea of how this is going to lay out. Now, when I click on, one thing that came up is the picture is selected. I have some handles in the corner, and I can select these handles and resize the picture if I want to. I can also change how the picture is laid out. Right-clicking is one of the easiest ways to do it. And I can choose how I want the text wrapped. This is how you choose how text appears in relationship to an image. So if I want the text to be, I can even put it text behind an image. I can make it top and bottom. I can say through or tight or square. And there's even more layout options if I want to about text wrapping that I can utilize to change the position. Now, if I move my cursor over to in front of the eye and I just hit the return key, it'll move the text one line down and make that formatting really easy for me. But this little icon right here also tells me my layout options for this image. One of the things that pops up on the menu that doesn't appear until you have a picture selected is something called picture format. This is an extremely powerful tool in both Word and PowerPoint, is that I have the ability to change the background. I can use a background removal tool, but in this case, it's not a picture with a really clear background. So if I select remove background, it'll try and remove it, and I can mark areas I want to keep or keep changes. But I don't like this one. But if you have a person with a background, you can really use it very effectively. I can make corrections to this picture by adjusting the brightness or contrast as I work with it. You can see how I can actually do a lot of image editing without having to go to a separate image editor. I can apply color tones to this image. So if I want to make it black and white, I can make it black and white. If I want to go to something, just go back to standard, I can go back to standard. I can apply artistic effects that give it kind of an interesting style and design effect to it that allow me to do this. So you've got tools within Word that you might think you might normally have to go to something like Canva or Adobe or something else that are just available to you to be able to utilize here and make these adjustments. You can adjust the transparency of the picture, which is how bright or how saturated it is. So if you want to have text behind it, image, you can do that. And there's even more options here if you're interested. And then there's frames that you can apply to pictures. A simple frame, or something a little more elaborate, or something with a black background, or something even oval, where it'll format it into an oval. And whenever you see a little disclosure arrow, that gives you a lot more of a selection. So these pictures are completely adjustable, and you can even change them perspective as well and put them on a design if you want to change how things appear in a document. PowerPoint also has these picture editing tools if you're interested, and you can change the color of the border if you want to and change it If you're interested, you can change the weight of the border to make it thicker, to make it look a little bit more dimension. You can change the layout. If you have multiple pictures selected, you can change how things are laid out and change how they're formatted using what is called Smart Art. Smart Art is a tool that is included with Microsoft products that formats things automatically for you if you're interested in using a design or shapes that come pre-existing. But the editing formats are just tremendously capable here, okay? Now, I'm going to see if I can find something else. So if I wanted, I'm going to find a technical term here that I might want to take a look at and see if I can get some information on. So if I want to get an idea of demographics here, I'll change my view up a little bit. I'll zoom in a little bit so that it's page width here, okay? Okay, so I selected the word demographics. If I didn't know what demographics meant, I could go to my web browser, I could go to ChatGPT. But if I go to references in the menu, I can go to search, and it'll automatically pull up a sidebar with information about demographics without me having to go. And it's basically bringing up Bing search within Word so that I don't have to bother going somewhere else. So rather than having to go back and forth between two applications or two windows, I have Bing search inserted in here automatically. So it gives me the ability to automatically do that and do something very quickly and search that way by using references and then search. Now, if you forget where things are, you can always go to help and say, where's search, and it'll pull it up for you all the time. Now, I'm going to see if I can get a table of contents made out of this document here. I'm going to insert my cursor here. I'm going to put table of contents, and you can see what it's doing is it has some automatic table 1, table 2. These are slightly different formats, but it'll create the table of contents from the headings automatically. So if I click on this, it's automatically inserted a table of contents for me. And if I have it here, I don't have to change anything. It automatically indicates what page number I'm using. And if I want to update it, I can just update it and not have to worry about making changes in these page numbers. These are automated from the Word itself. They don't have to be done manually in any way whatsoever. And if I want to delete it, I just put my cursor back up here and I can usually delete it without any problem. Let's see if I can get it out of here somewhere. I've forgotten how to do that. There we go. I think that gets rid of it. Yep. So I can do a lot of things with it and apply my styles here, go back to putting a title on here if I want to. So these are just some things that are possible to do. Now, mailings, because somebody brought up mailings. Mailings give you the ability to create envelopes and labels or start a mail merge. Okay, when you have a mail merge, you can tell it whether you want to do it for letters or email messages or envelopes. And if you want to start it for envelopes, it'll pull up a format for an envelope and it'll ask you what your envelope options are. So it'll give you envelopes. Size 10 is pretty standard. Okay. And then what you have to do is it's going to delete this. I'm not going to delete this to this document. Let me go and start a new document. So let me go to File and New, blank. And if we go to Mailings and we go to Envelopes or Labels, I can get labels printed out. You can go to office supply stores and buy labels that will print out. And you have to select Recipients. So the main thing is that it's easiest to use a spreadsheet for this because it'll import from a typical comma delimited file format. If you have first name, last name, street number, street name, city, state, zip formatted, and it's very easy to use or to create a new list. And or if you want to type a new list, you can type it in. But you can see how it actually has these standard fields that you can utilize if you want to. That'll pull it from. It'll pull the information from that. And when you want to start your mail merge, you click on merge and it'll start your mail merge to that particular type of format that you want to do. It's become much easier to deal with than it used to be before. But generally, it's better to have the data in a format already that you can actually just import and do a mail merge with. But you can do a mail merge with email as well if you want to. Okay, so one of the other things you can do is you can share documents. So if you click on the share icon in the upper right, there's a share option that pops up. It's called share because you just aren't emailing this. Whenever you have a document that's stored in the cloud, OneDrive is what Microsoft uses. I can give people the ability to edit this document, which means they can make changes to it. Now, it keeps track of revisions, so I can always go back to the original, but I can allow people to edit, modify, change it, and we can all be working on the same document because the master documents in the cloud in OneDrive, and as people make edits, they can see each other's editing and what changes have been made. That's commonly called collaboration. And so, or I can just choose to share it with anybody with the link, or I can send as a copy and attach it to an email application. So if I choose copy, it gives me a link and I can copy this link and then I can go to chat, for example, and I can paste the link in the chat and share it, and everybody can view the document as it appears. They can't make changes to it because I selected only people that they can edit it, or I can change it so that people can only view it. So it's another way to manage and work with documents. You can save a copy of a document by saving it as. So if I wanted to save this, I can save it as Data Brokers 2, for example, and click Save, and it'll save it in the same folder. So if you want to save versions, but I can see the versions that I've done. So I can see by clicking on this tool within the top access toolbar here. Well, I have to go back to my other document because I was working with this one. This one has all the revisions. So if I go back here to the tool and I see version history, it'll show me the different versions in a window on the right that tells me what I did yesterday, how many changes I made to it today, and I can go back to a different version just by clicking on it, and it'll bring back that version, and I can restore it if I want to. So it's keeping track of all of these different revisions that are being made to the document as I utilize it. And if I want to see how it sounds to somebody, I can do that. I could click read aloud and it'll give me the ability
Digital age, where your every click, search, and interaction online
to give you the ability to read the document well. And now I have the check accessibility feature as well. And I can even translate it to a different language if I want to, without having to understand, what a different language is, and choose it if I want to. Now I'm working with the other version that I modified. So if I go back to this one, I should be able to go to language or translate here, and I can translate a selection or the complete document if I want to, and I can choose which translation I want to get with it. So if I want to translate it to French, I can set it as a default, and it's going to translate it to the whole document to French for me. So these are just some of the things that you can do beyond some of the basics in Word that give you some capabilities. You know, there's a whole lot more. Word is such a powerful word processing application because it's used by people from, from any type of life, any format, any background, any type of experience. And it just has a tremendously, wide range of capabilities that you can utilize with it. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and appreciate you joining me today.